Let me talk real quick about what Alex is about to present to you. And it's all about accessing information. This is a tool called Passport QueryBuilder. It doesn't matter how many reports we write. There's always going to be something unique to you that you want to see. So this is yet another tool that you can put into your toolbox to allow you to do that kind of stuff. Now, is SQL required? The answer is no, not really. I think you will truly appreciate the experience a whole lot more, though, if you decide to transfer over from the traditional Vision database to the SQL database. It'll provide a much better user experience for you as far as doing the unique reporting and so on. So what are we really talking about? What we're talking about is giving you the ability, with a click, to start to access information that's inside of your Passport database. This is done right from the PBS desktop. As Alex will show you in a few minutes, you literally just click a button on the toolbar across the top to fire up the Passport QueryBuilder, and you can start creating queries or accessing queries that you've made before and want to use again. You can create custom queries quickly and easily. You can do some more complex stuff. It's going to take you a little bit more time, but doing a real fast ad hoc query is actually quite simple to do. And honestly, most folks who are accustomed to using a computer a little bit, they don't have to be computer majors, can be taught to do this kind of thing. So lastly, this is going to allow us to even move data outside of Passport QueryBuilder and out of Passport itself and into tools like Excel, using some of the Excel query or Microsoft Query functionality, as well as to a neat tool called ssrs, which stands for SQL Server Reporting Services. And this is a very seamless process. Alex, let's see how it works.
Good afternoon, this is Alex Ursolov, and today I will show you how to use PBS QueryBuilder, and you'll see how easy it is to actually use it. So right from the PBS window, from the PBS SQL menu window, you will click on this button called Passport QueryBuilder Tool. It's the button on the right, and once we click this button, it will bring up the Passport QueryBuilder. My window is a little big so that you can see it better, so I have to drag it. So this is Passport QueryBuilder, and from here you can select your database that is on the SQL server. And you can create connections to that database and then select it and pull data right out of it. So it's really easy to create the connection. You just create new ODBC driver, and I already have one, and I'm going to show you real quick how to add a new database, basically an access point to it. And we're just going to click on Add and select SQL Server, click Finish, and I'm going to add PBS database for a company LG.
So Alex, while you're doing this, essentially what this is doing is just allowing you to connect to the data in another company, right?
Yes. So I have already created a connection to connect to the data in company 00, and now I'm going to create a connection to connect a different company in that same install.
And this is just a one-time thing, right? Once you've got your connection established, it remembers that.
Absolutely.
Great.
Once you have it established, you save it, and now I have two databases available. So I'm going to click OK here, and now I have PBS data 00 to connect to company 00 and PBS data LG to company LG. So I'm going to select the data that's located in PBS data 00 company, and I'm going to click on New Report, and these are all the tables that you have in your SQL server. And this is all the data in raw format that you can access. And to show you today, I'm just going to select customer file, and I can just start typing right in this box and type cost file, and it's going to take me to that location on the screen. So I'm going to select cost file, and now it shows me the available columns for that file. And I have the customer number, and I can select it by either double-clicking it or selecting Alt and a right arrow. So I can double-click customer number, customer name. I'm going to select some address fields, and I'm going to select their primary contact and phone. And let's select some real data, like sales year to date, sales last year, We can select payments year to date and payments last year. We can select last sales amount and last sales date, last payment amount, and we can select past due amount as well.
What Alex is doing right now is he's just grabbing data right out of Passport. He's creating a real fast query here. And what you might choose to use this for, so this example here is maybe you've got sales reps that head out into the field and they're gone for the week and they want to grab a list of their customers and they want the latest information on, recent sales and recent payments, address, phone number, this sort of thing, so that while they're in the field, A, they can find the customers, and B, they've got some pertinent information that might be useful during a sales visit. So doing something like this allows you to kind of tailor a little spreadsheet that you can pull together and send them out in the field with. I'm sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add that you can do this virtually from anywhere. As long as you have a connection to PBS, you can set up your QueryBuilder and create this report on the fly. So now I have a couple of options to create this report. I have an option to create an MS query or to save this report and post it to the ssrs, which stands for the SQL Server Reporting Services URL. It's basically like a website. So first I'm just going to create a Microsoft query. And I'm going to click this button and it wants me to add the name. So I'm just going to call it cost file. And it's going to save it in my documents, but you can change the directory and where it saves the file. And now it gives me an option to actually click OK and open the query that I created, or just cancel to open it later. So I'm going to click OK, and it's going to open Microsoft Excel, and I'm going to allow the Microsoft Office, yeah, that's just a security. So I'm going to allow it to pull the data from the SQL Server. So this is live data, and this is, and you can actually refresh it as well later to access it later. And this is the Microsoft query that I created with our customer name and number and address fields and contact information and their sales information last year, this year, and all the good stuff. So you can see how easy I've created this and how fast actually I've created this report. And you can create any report from item file or from customer file or from vendor file and just have this at your fingertips. And I'm going to close this. And now I can start to create another report. And this time I'm going to post that report to the SQL Server Reporting Services website. So I'm going to click on New Report, and I'm going to select Cost File again, and select those same fields, or approximately the same fields. I'm going to select Payments, and Sales, and Past Due Amounts, and Last Sales Amounts. And now I'm going to click on Create SSRS Report button. And again, it's going to ask me to give it a name and to save this report, because I can actually modify it at a later date and then repost it, and that's the way it's going to post it again. So I'm going to save it, and now it gives me a message that the SSRS report was successfully created, and now I can publish to save it on SSRS report, modify, or cancel. So I'm going to publish. And now it's actually connecting to the SQL Server website, the reporting services website, and posting this report on that website so that you can access this report at any other time from any computer at any point in the world. And let's just give it a second to post it.
That, of course, assumes you have the privileges to do so.
Absolutely. And now it is here, and I give it a name of cost file, and now I can click on this report and actually run that report. So I'm going to click on this Run SSRS Report button, and he opens Internet Explorer, and this is this report in Internet Explorer. With all our data that we've pulled. And now I can export it right from Internet Explorer to a PDF, Excel spreadsheet, or a Word document. So I'm going to select Excel, because it makes more sense. And it's going to ask me to open the Excel spreadsheet that it created, and I'm going to open it. And here is this report in Excel. And I'm going to click Enable Editing. And I'm going to make it a little smaller so that you can see that all the data that was pulled in here. So there's our customer number, customer name, date. Oops, hold on. Wrong scroll here. So this is the data exported from the Internet Explorer right into the right into the Excel spreadsheet. And now I would like to actually show you how once we have posted this report to the SQL Server reporting services, I can access it even without having access to PBS. As long as I have the URL, the web address saved, I can just go to this web address, which is an HTTP page, and this is our SQL Server reporting services that's connected to the SQL database. And you can click on our folder, PBS Reports, go to the company ID that we've created, and you have different company IDs for all your companies. And here's our report that we just created, the CUS file. And now if I click on this report, it just runs it. And I virtually don't even need PBS to run the saved reports, as long as I've created them before and saved them.
And I'll tell you something. I work with our manufacturing product line, and I find very often that senior management is rarely a user of Passport. They are often a user of reporting. They want specific reporting so they can kind of keep their fingers on the pulse of the business. So you could literally provide the president, the CEO, that sort of thing, the owner of the company, with access to key reports that are for that particular user that give them the information that they need, basically, as Alex has pointed out, on a website. And what's really neat, I'm sure going to get more into this, but you can manage security, who can access these and so forth, as the administrator of the ssrs report server. So I literally see a lot of need for this kind of thing.
Yes, as you can see on the screen, I just went into the options for this report that we've just created, and I can manage the security and who's able to access this report. And I can either add new users or remove users. So to get back to the query builder here, there are also sorting options available. And this is when you create a new report, and let's say you only want to see one customer out of that report. So I'm going to select CUS file, and I'm going to select CUS number and customer name and their state. And let's say that's it. And now I would like to do the advanced search on this report that I'm creating. And it's going to open this another window here. And let me just scroll to it. And now it gives me an option to filter this report. And I can select to filter it by customer number and say that I want to only see one customer that equals to number 700. And it enters the criteria in here. And now when I click Next, I'm going to sort it in ascending order if I had more than one customer. And I'm going to save it. Now I can create a query and call it CUS file 700. And now it's only going to show me one customer, 700. So this could be useful for some people that do not want to see a list of 1,000 customers. They only want to see customers beginning with a letter A and ending with a letter Z, and get only that list. I'm sorry, I have to scroll around because I've made my screen so large so that actually you can see it better on your screens. And now I'm going to reselect our database again and show one more useful feature. So we also have an option of creating an advanced query. And what this does is, after selecting my database, let's say I want to pull data from two different tables that's available only in customer file and then in AR open. And I want to combine those two tables into one report. And the QueryBuilder gives me that ability. So by clicking on this button here, the advanced query, it brings up another window. And then in that window, I can add multiple tables and then link that data together and create a report from that. So I'm going to select cost file. And click add. And I'm going to select another table by clicking add table. And I'm going to select AR open table and click add. And now I can view data from both of these tables and select columns from both of these tables. So I'm going to select customer number, customer name, primary contact and phone number, which is data that's not available in AR open. And let's say I want to create a report with only the open items and I want to call that customer right away. So now I can create this report, select primary phone, and now I want to select the doc date, doc number, amount fields, terms, and let's say the sales rep. So after selecting my columns, I can click on Save View button and give it a name, and I'm going to call it cost file underscore, we actually cannot use spaces here in the name, underscore AR. Let's just leave it at that because I think I already have a name that's the same with AR open. So I'm going to click Save. And now it gives me an option to either add a relationship or just pull all of the records from both of these tables. And I want to add a relationship because I don't want to see all the records. I only want to see records that have data in all of those fields. So I'm going to create a relationship with cost file first and select the available column by customer number and then select the second table, AR open table, and select the same column, customer number, and I'm going to click Add to add that relationship. And if you've ever worked with Excel, this is very, very similar to Excel. And now I've created this view. So I'm going to click on, instead of clicking on tables to see all of the available tables that are stored in a SQL database, I'm going to click on Views, and that will display the custom-made views. And we call them the QBVs because they're created with a QueryBuilder view. And here's the table that I've just saved, cost file underscore AR. One second. And when I click on that table on the source, it displays the available columns that I've selected from both of those tables, from the data in two files. So I have my customer number available, name, contact, and phone, and I also have the data available from the AR open file. And I can either create an SSRS report or create a Microsoft query. I'm going to actually create an SSRS report and save it and call cost file underscore, or let's call it cost open. And I'm going to click save, and I'm going to publish this report. And we're going to give it a second to connect to the SQL Server database and post this report on the SQL Server Reporting Services website.
While we're waiting on that, what's also cool is once you've created an SSRS report, there's also a tool in, it's available, it's actually a free download, called the Microsoft, the report editor, Alex? I can't remember the name of it exactly. But essentially,
it's the report builder, right? SQL report builder.
There you go. It'll let you actually customize and lay out reports in all different kinds of formats, so you can really tweak them and make them look the way you want rather than just a columnar-style report that you're seeing here.
Yeah, you could actually change the column names to say customer number and customer name and actually spell it out, and then save that report and republish it to the SQL Server reporting services URL, and that's the way it's going to display each time you access that report. So you can see the pull data from customer number, name, primary contact, and phone number, and that's the data from the customer file, and this is the data from the AR open. And it has combined both of those tables, and you can do this literally in minutes and create your own custom reports from multiple tables. You can, of course, also export this report to a PDF, Excel, or Word document. You can print it out, and of course that report is also accessible right from the URL itself. And here it is. And each time, this is another, Ian mentioned that it's always a little better to go with SQL because the data is actually live. So the data that you access here is live data. You don't need to refresh it. Each time you access it, it pulls live data. If you actually, you can access this data using the Vision installation, but that data would not be live, and you would have to refresh that data each time you would want to run the report, which makes it a little more difficult, and also it has to create a database because the data is not in Vision, so it takes a little longer for the whole Vision setup to work, but it is possible. We do suggest to use SQL for the QueryBuilder, though, because the data is live and so much faster and much more usable. Is there anything else, Ian, that you think I should show today?
No, I think you've really nailed it, Alex. This is tremendous to have this kind of access, folks, right from your passport. To have that kind of access, to be able to create reports and so forth. And it's not that you have to, teach every user how to do this. You can actually create your own SSRS reports from here, kind of on an admin level, and then publish them to the SSRS reporting server, set up your security, and provide access to the server to whoever in-house needs it, be it the average Joe working on the production floor trying to get some sort of production-related report, or somebody in your distribution facility who needs something, maybe schedules, and you've got a unique way you like to present those, or as I said earlier, even right on up to the owner who doesn't want to look at the business system. They just want to look at some key indicators that are important to them. I highly recommend deploying. If you're going to deploy this thing, move to the SQL product. It's worth the investment to make that move. You're going to find that there's so much more that you can do, and it really is going to start to open up your eyes to being able to look at your business in ways that you either never have before or you've been doing offline in spreadsheets, and there's no need for that. I guess that's it.
We invite you to contact your Passport partner or your Passport account manager to take care of questions for you. Our email is psi@pass-port.com, and our 800 number is 800-969-7900.